TOA community, what's up everybody? I'm Robert Linkul with trainingtheolderadult.com. I want to talk to you today about bone density and how our bone density is affected via resistance training over the years, even decades of our lives. As we get older, there is a very common misconception that our bones are going to naturally get softer no matter what we do. And that is 100% false. If you eat well, sleep well, allow your body to recover, but they need to recover from something, which would incur a specific adaptation to an imposed demand. That would be our SAID principle, specific adaptations to imposed demands. What are the imposed demands? The amount of weights that I pick up and I move through different ranges of motion. I squat and I push and I pull and I press and I carry and I lunge and I do all these different things to impose a demand on my body. Now, what is the specific adaptation to that? My body will build more binding sites or stronger binding sites, thus making my muscles stronger and or bigger. Well, what do the muscles originate and insert on? They originate and insert off of bones via the tendons and the ligaments that hold the bones together, then have pressure placed on them. It's all one big happy family. But the key component to that is implementing resistance training that builds muscle, that pulls on the bone, that tightens the tendons, that tightens up the ligaments, and all are happy. Now, in terms of doing that, as we age, as our bodies get older, we start to see that people that are not doing resistance training, that are not eating appropriately, not allowing their bodies to recover, not hydrating, and giving your body the nutrients and the nourishment that it needs to build better bones, they do start to get soft bones. And how do we judge that? Through a bone scan. And in that bone scan, you have T or Z scores that give anywhere between a 3 to a 0 to a -3 score. So that whole window is 3 to 0 to -3. And the range for this, and I don't know why these scores are the way they are, I'm sure there's details to it, but on the score from 3 until -1, you are still considered to be in an okay, safe area, okay? From -1 to -2, you're now being diagnosed with osteopenia, which is the softening of bones, and you're in danger of becoming osteopenic. From a -2 down to a 3 or lower, you are full-blown osteoporosis-based or osteopenic, okay? Now, what can we do at any age? We can start to resistance train. That will help improve our bone density, but will it grow our bone density? It depends on how much demand you put on it. Most people, the goal is to just maintain the bone density that you have and not allow it to decrease any further. But I want to talk about this success story here. This gentleman's name is Rudy. I just started following him on Instagram because of this video that one of my friends sent me. So let's take a look at Rudy and see what he's doing. He's 73 years old and he just squatted 400 and whatever that just said. How strong is he? Well, Rudy went to the doctor and had a bone scan to find out the results, and they were astonishing. Average male over the age of 60 has a bone density score. There's your score right there of, so this one's going from -1.5 and then all the way down to the 2.5. They're saying here that men in his range, if you're 60 or more, and you have a bone density of 2 to 2.5, which was on the high end, really, really good, right? You were in the top 97 to 99 percentile, right? So if you have a 2.5 Z score, you were in the top 97 to 99%, which means you were elite of the elite. What do you think Rudy's score was? 5.2. 5.2. Can you, that is astounding. I bet you can't find 20 and 30-year-old males, full body hair, full testosterone, full meat eating, protein consuming, bodybuilding badasses that don't have a bone density score of 5.2. That is unheard of. So this guy is 73 years old. 73 years old. And he has a Z score of 5.2 because of this style of lifting. Now, what we found out about Rudy is a national caliber power lifter, which means he deadlifts, he back squats, and he bench presses a ass load of weight, okay? He has, I don't know his numbers exact, but I saw him pull 500 or something pounds. You'll see him here. I'm letting them all play. These are just recording screen grabs of his page. He pulled, I think, 505 off the floor. He back squatted for whatever that was, 430 or whatever it was, and then he benched over 3. So that is the 1,200 pound club right there. If you can deadlift 5, back squat 4, and bench 3, that gives you 1,200 pound total. Now, most like high school and college kids look for 1,000 pound total. You get a t-shirt, you're in the 1,000 pound club. That means you have a decently good base of strength all across the board. I personally had a 1,000 pound total between my deadlift and my back squat alone. But my bench press only took me up to 1,250. So I had a very similar record from this, but mostly because of my legs and my back. But the world of a hammer thrower, I didn't really need a lot of upper body strength in terms of pushing strength like that. I was a little bit more of everything you see here with Rudy, just lifting and lifting and lifting, and just a total badass, okay? 73 years old, look at him. Champion there, he's winning money at these national level events because he's an elite level power lifter. So what's the story? What's the story with this? What's the lesson to learn? What is it where we go, okay, Rob, what are you trying to tell us? We all need it, there you go, 450. We all need to get into powerlifting to make sure our bones are dense? No. What I'm pointing out is for an average individual in their 60s to have a healthy T-score of 2 to 2.5, okay, or Z-score, excuse me, of 2 to 2.5, that individual would need to resistance train with just a light to moderate load of weight on a regular basis. Because Rudy lifts with such high level weights, that's why his score was a 5.2 and not just a 2 or a 2.5 or a 3. So you don't have to do that, but the point is because he did, look at the massive effect that it had. Look at how high that score was. His bones are dense as shit. This guy could fall off his balcony and not break a hip at 73 years old because he moves thousands of pounds, hundreds of thousands of pounds every week, every month, millions of pounds every year because he lifts heavy load. So if you do just a tenth of that, we can keep, well, we would need to do at least a quarter, right? To get 1.25 would be still a very healthy bone score. I would take that if you could do 25% of what he's doing, totally fine, okay? You don't need to become a power lifter. You just need to move load. But what kind of load? It has to be an imposed demand. We're going back to the whole overload principle and the whole idea of that SAID principle that I talked about earlier. If you want to SAID, specifically adapt to an imposed demand, it must be an imposed demand, which means it's got to be more than what you're used to doing, okay? If I pick up 5 pounds off the floor, my body goes, can do this all day, bro. What else you got for me? Give me something real. Give me something real, bro. And I go, okay, hey, here's a 10 pounder. And it's like, cake. 15, got this. Load it up. 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 40. I can feel that. Hey, my legs are burning a little bit. I got some glutes going on. That's something. 50 pounds, holy cow. Okay, now we're working, okay? It's beyond what I normally would do, but it's not 100 pounds. It's not 200 pounds. It's not so much weight that it's gonna damage me, okay? And not that Rudy's being damaged. Rudy started lifting when he was 53 years old. The last 20 years, he's been building 2 decades of strength to be able to move the numbers that he's moving there, right? He's never going to have any bone density issues if he keeps doing this. He could probably stop actually and his bones would be fine. The rest of him would atrophy and he would probably get something else negative to come about. I'm not suggesting he stop. My point is he's done a ton of work where I think his bones could survive that if he did. He will not. This guy is completely invested and 100% into it. And that's why he's a hero and I want to talk about him in this video. So if I move that 50-pound kettlebell, my body goes, we are not used to this. That's why our legs are burning a little bit. That's why the glutes are burning a little bit. I now have an imposed demand. So how does my body specifically adapt to that? In my glutes and in my quads, the muscles, actin, myosin, either end of the muscle, they hook together. This is a very broad, very general description, okay? They hook together and they're rather tight. And then when I move them through this range of motion, under that load, they start to stretch and they start to separate and they start to elongate and they start to tear a little bit. Now, this is healthy tearing. Now, if I do too much, if I go too deep, if I push myself too much, they could snap. And that's when you see them like lawn shade, like right, wrap it up, where you see someone tear their pec or tear their bicep. It's because, and by the way, the number one way to tear your bicep is doing preacher curls. So get off the preacher bar. Active insufficiency is a very real thing. A whole nother video. Anyway, get away from the preacher bar, do some regular curls, okay? All right, so though they're starting to fray, right? They're starting to get just little tiny tears, little tiny tears. These are little micro tears, guys. Nothing to concern yourself with. It's nothing that you're gonna damage yourself in a bad way. But because you have those little tiny tears, the muscle now, as you give yourself good foods and proteins and amino acids, you get all these good things in your body, you're hydrated, you sleep good, it's gonna rebuild back those binding sites. But the body looks at that and goes, if we have to do this again, we were not prepared to move that amount of weight that many times through that range of motion. We should probably get some backup in here. Let's get a couple more binding sites in this baby. Let's load this up. Let's make these binding sites a little tighter. Let's make the handshake a little bit tighter. Let's start to lock this thing down. So if we have to do that again, we're completely fine. We can do it. So you continue to lift that 50 pounder, 50 pounder, 50 pounder, and your body goes, yep, stressed, yep, stressed, not so stressed, not really stressed at all. Hey man, what are we doing? It goes back to that all day, bro. Now 50 is the new 5 or 10 because your body has adapted to that imposed demand. Your body has specifically adapted to the imposed demand, right? So what do we need now? We need a new demand. So does that mean heavier? Maybe. Does it mean deeper in range of motion? Maybe I stand up on blocks and I squat sub floor. So those muscles that got stretched, they're like, whoa, this is 2 inches deeper, whole nother ball game. Maybe I go slower. Maybe I come down 4, 3, 2, 1 instead of hurrying through my lifts, right? Maybe I do a 4-second descent with a 3-second pause, and then I come up as quick as I can. Maybe I add a band to the kettlebell, so when I pick it up, it gets tighter. It's like 70 pounds on lockout, but it's back to 50 at the bottom again. There are so many different things that we could do to challenge the body to create a new imposed demand that the body will have to specifically adapt to, and that's how you get stronger, right? Now, if I continue to lift heavier loads, and I tear more binding sites, our body will reconnect with more binding sites. That's how you get a bigger muscle to start to grow. But if you work with the same loads or similar loads that are challenging, and you start to vary those tempos and you start to challenge yourself in ways where you're not trying to so much tear the fibers, but stress them under tension, then the handshakes, if you will, they just get tighter. Like anybody ever shake your hand and they're like a limp noodle, right? And then the next guy's trying to break your hand in half and you're like, bro, that was a little aggressive. Like, take it easy. I'm gentle, I'm brittle, I'm 43, take it easy. Right? That we want to be the second one. You want to squeeze that shit so tight you're like, I can't not be strong because everything I touch with these hands I could crush because I'm so strong. That's what you want. That's the kind of strength now that we start to build. So we don't necessarily have to have true hypertrophy where you get bigger and bigger and everyone's concerned about losing their neck and their pants getting too tight and yada, yada, yada. Okay, I'm not familiar with the yada, yada, yada research. Could you detail that a little further, please? By all means, I will. What that means is if you do legs on leg day, your legs fill up with blood. And then, ladies, later that day, you go to put on your skinny jeans and you go, I can't get my legs in my skinny jeans. Number one, they're skinny jeans. Don't wear them on the day that you do legs because your legs are now swollen, okay? But you think I'm getting bulky. I'm not going to train legs anymore. I don't want my legs to get any bigger. Wait 2 days until all the swelling goes out of your legs, then put on your skinny jeans. Have yourself a pair of weightlifting jeans or put on some sweats or put on some yoga tights. We all love them, okay? Everybody's a fan. Put that shit on, rock it all day. We love seeing your glutes and your calves, and I love seeing that little bit of ankle right at the bottom, those little capri tights. I'm a fan. My wife loves my ankles. I love her ankles. We're getting a little deep into the Linkul family over here of what we're into. But everybody likes tights, sweatpants, whatever you want to wear. Wear something that's comfortable for you, okay? That's the purpose, that's the point of these specific adaptations that are going to occur to the imposed demand. That guy made himself into Superman, Iron Man. He made himself into Iron Man. Those bones won't break unless they are put through severe pressure. Where the average individual, the average male, his age, let me do it right here. Let's do this. Let's ask the internet. Let's see. Okay, here we go. Z-score, average male, age 70. Average Z-score, okay, they have one for 50 and over, so let's see what that is. For 50 and over, the average Z-score for men is 0 to -1. 0 to -1. This is from Medical News Today. From 0 to -1, okay? That is the score. And DEXA scan, they scan your finger, yada yada. There's some more yada yada info for you. -2 for 4. The average 50 years age is, was there more? This is great live television here that I'm just ticking away moments. Summary, a score 2.5. Osteoporosis. Oh, there it was. Oh, I just had it. Come back. Okay, if you were 50 and at risk of osteoporosis, stroke, oh, nope, that's not it. Anyway. Okay, I think that was the best one that I found, between 1 and 0, okay? So that's the average guy in his 70s. Look at this guy, Iron Man, absolute stud muffin. If you need help implementing a resistance training program into your life, go hire somebody to help you. I could sit here and plug my online program and tell you to go and do it. I think it's better to get with somebody in person. If you've never lifted weights before, find a local coach. If you can't find one, let me know. I'll help you find one, okay? All you need to do is send me your zip code and I will post it on the internet and see if we can't find somebody in your area if I don't already have a TOA certified trainer in your area, right? We don't always do. We're still small. We're only a couple of years old, but we've got a couple hundred TOA trainers out there. We're hoping to have thousands of them one of these days as we spread out our TOA knowledge across the United States, across the globe. So we expand into Canada, over into Iceland, Ireland, Europe, Australia. We have TOAers all over the place. So let us help you, us professionals, let us help you. Find somebody in your area to help you, teach you how to use weights, lift weights, so you can become somebody like Rudy. Comments, questions, hit me up in the comment section below. And until then, continue to fight your good fight against sarcopenia. And remember, everybody here in TOA land, we love you and we celebrate every time we get to hang out with you. You're the best. Have a great day. Take care.